This is a grey market 1984 Mercedes 500 SEC AMG. It has just over 230 horsepower and 300 pound-foot of torque from a 5-litre V8 engine, which, by today's standards, would be considered a joke. But in 1984, on the heels of the 70s energy crisis, the numbers were impressive. To the Mercedes faithful, this is a W126, which means it's the second generation of the S-Class. At over 16.5 feet long, this coupe is longer than most German sedans sold today, and without a true B-pillar, it looks like the doors go on forever. The car has an amazing presence today, but compared to other German cars of the era, prices are still reasonable. Let me tell you how we got here and why this is the next big thing. In the early 80s, you would probably see these cars in this neighborhood. You'd certainly see them in Manhattan down on Wall Street, the power brokers choosing to drive something a little bit different. This is a car you could get into and head out to your pad in the Hamptons for a fun-filled weekend and then head back into the city on a Sunday afternoon, like all New Yorkers seem to do. And I have to say, the 84 SEC AMG Mercedes 500 seems to be a great touring car. Comfortable, got just enough power from the 5.0 V8, cruises along really nice, visibility is great, and you're going to arrive wherever you go in style. Back then, this car, this just said, I'm a success. I've driven in cities all over the world, and I seem to have a passion and a love affair with bridges, whether it's the 6th Street Bridge in LA, the Sydney Harbour Bridge obviously down under, or perhaps one of the most iconic bridges in the whole world, the Brooklyn Bridge. No doubt back in the 80s, thousands of money-hungry stockbrokers would be doing just what I'm doing. Sat behind the seat with the Mercedes AMG, heading westbound through the iconic arches, rolling under the steel girders that form the structure. Just a monumental feat of engineering and one of the best ways to see Manhattan driving over it and coming into the city. It doesn't take long, but every single trip I've ever taken over it has always been inspirational. And we're going to head down into Wall Street and see what it's like heading into work. Make no mistake, the financial district of New York City isn't just about money. It's about power and control. What deals are being made, who's on top, and who's getting crushed. And the only metric of success was your net worth. And the best way to flaunt that wealth, the suit you wore, the watch on your wrist, and the keys in your pocket. Porsche, Ferrari, Maserati, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. They all had their North American headquarters here in New York City. If you're not here and you're not rolling around in something fancy, then you're a no one. The time between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. in the office, that's just a formality. When you leave the office, the second shift starts. That's when the real business gets done. If you're a guy on the move, this would have been your status symbol back in 1984. And what better car to be in than Mercedes 500 SEC Aero Kit, Pentra wheels, our anthracite grey metallic, black leather interior, clad in thick deep pile, sheepskin shaggy seat covers. What better place to be than New York City, Saturday night, heading down Fifth Avenue. There's nothing much more New Yorky than this. You know, the guy that's buying this today or the girl that's buying this today Obviously, is someone who has a lot of style. I mean, personally, I really like it. You know, it's one of those quirky things. It's someone who's thinking outside of the box. It's not the obvious choice like a 450 or 560 SL would be. You can pick those up in the teens. This is the league above that. The car's really well designed. It's sort of a timeless shape that looks unique. 37 years later, today on the road, it stands out and it has a presence. So whoever the buyer is today, that's the type of person who wants to express their individuality in something that's a little bit different to the norm. You know, this is one of those cars that back in the day was the big status symbol and then sort of got lost over the past 25, 30 years. But now it really has a presence on the streets of New York. And it really gives an air of achievement for me, a personal sense of accomplishment. If I'd been a money bro back in the day, working Wall Street, crazy hours, smoking at my desk. Obviously, I've got my briefcase sat next to me. I got my favorite derby hat right here, which I'm going to stick on. I'm going to press on. I'm coming up on one of the most iconic New York locations, Grand Central Terminal. I always say New York's a great walking city, but at nighttime, it's actually a pretty decent driving city. Like, it's not always about how quick you can get from A to B. It's about enjoying the journey, taking in all these cultural landmark buildings, just cruising around New York City. One of the greatest things about New York City from a nightlife entertainment point of view is there's so much diversity and there's so much choice. Everyone's got their favorite spot, whether it's highbrow or lowbrow. I'm no different. I've got my favorite spot and it's downtown, Chinatown. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got some business to attend to.